Well, Mario Kart World is on the horizon now, and I haven't really been able to think of much else ever since we got the official reveal for this game. And I have had a lot of things to think about. So today, pretty simple video. I'm just going to be sharing some ideas and theories I have with you guys. And just something I want to clarify at the beginning of the video here. The first couple things I'm going to propose are ideas. They are not things that I think are actually in the game, so when something I say that I have an idea for isn't in the game when it comes out in probably a week by the time this video is out, don't come back here saying, oh, you said this would be in the game. No, I didn't. I said this is something that I think would be cool to see in the game. The theories, though, granted, I'm not saying they are in the game, but I feel like those things are fairly likely. But again, nothing in this video is guaranteed to be in the game. This is all just from my brain. I just feel like I had to say that because I know someone would have called me out for being wrong on something I didn't even say was for sure happening. But let's move on to my first idea. My first idea is something that I've been calling royal bosses. Now yes, plenty of people out there have been saying, oh, we need boss fights in Mario Kart World, but I haven't really seen anybody expand on that idea beyond just, we should have boss fights. So here I am to do just that. Now, the reason I'm calling these royal bosses is because of how I'm expanding on it. I'm going to have these bosses be all of the quote-unquote royal characters. Because think about it, Nintendo has introduced quite a few of these guys, but apart from King Boo and, at least in more recent years, King Bob-omb, they never used them for anything. There's King Womp from Mario 64, whose only non-Mario 64 appearance is in the Mario 64 level in Galaxy 2. Galaxy 2 also gave us a King Lakitu. Where's he been? 3D World, I can give some slack to because it's more recent, but they gave us a Prince Bully there, and yeah, bullies are in this game, why not introduce the big one again? And then there's Goomboss from Mario 64 DS, never appeared anywhere else aside from Mario Kart DS mission mode. And Chief Chili, who is, you know, everyone knows him, the big chili bully. I don't blame you if you forgot he existed, because chili bullies themselves have not even been referenced in the series since Mario 64. Until this game, where they're back now. So come on, Nintendo. You can bring these guys back. Heck, you could even argue that Petey Piranha and Gooper Blooper could fit into this category as well, although those two are at least semi-recurring, unlike the others who have 2 appearances at most. Like, come on, Nintendo. Add these bosses somewhere on the map in free roam, let us have some sort of a boss fight with them, and maybe that's how we unlock these characters too. Doesn't have to be super complicated, but it would be nice to have some unlocks that aren't tied to coins, the Kamek item, or Dash Food. Just don't make it to the degree of Mario Kart Wii's unlocks again, because some of those were kind of absurd. For my next idea, it's again something more akin to like, yeah, a lot of people have been saying this, but here's how I would do it. This time, DLC. Because I'm pretty sure at some point we're going to be getting DLC for this game, or at the very least, we'll get more content over time. Now, I'm not going to be talking about the courses that I think could be in the DLC, because honestly, that can and probably will eventually be its own separate video. But I'm going to be talking about how I think they could implement courses into this open world, because the way I see it, there's 2 versions of DLC they could do, with one, at least in my opinion, being much more likely or easier than the other. So I'm going to start with my idea that I think is less likely, just because I also think that one is kind of more fun, and that is that, what if they take a more live service approach with this game, and let's say every month or so we get a couple new courses? And maybe even, you know, some hints as to what those courses are going to be a little bit beforehand. Like, I'm just going to say, as an example, GBA Yoshi Desert. Let's say they're adding that in the next update. Maybe we start seeing some construction somewhere in the desert, being like, ooh, okay, we've got a new course coming here next week. Something like that. I highly doubt Nintendo would do this, but it would be kind of fun. Although, I think it's much more likely that when we get DLC, they'll just basically plop a new island down in the ocean and be like, alright, new island, there's going to be like a new path across the ocean to it, or you can just, fast travel, teleport, and free roam. It's got, I don't know, like 8 new courses on it. Go nuts. I feel like that is a much more likely way of doing DLC for this game, but I would love to see the first way happen. And for the last bit of ideas here, let's talk about battle mode. I know some people are saying that the battle mode is looking a little bit underwhelming in this game, considering we're back to just balloon battle and coin runners, and it seems like we're bringing back the battle courses on regular tracks, but I don't know. I feel like they've put at least a little bit more thought into battle mode here than they did in the Wii U. I remember back during my predictions, I was thinking Mario Kart 9 was going to go all out with battle mode, considering we're up to 24 players, but that just doesn't really seem to be the case. Honestly, Nintendo, at least in my eyes, has kind of been neglecting battle mode ever since it peaked back in DS. But I have a couple of fun ideas of things that they could maybe do in this game to spice it up a bit, even just keeping it with the 2 modes that we have. The first idea was for what I guess I would call a region battle, where instead of the battle map just being, a small enclosed area like, we have Big Donut, for example, or like a regular battle map, it's just like the entire snow region. That's the whole battle arena. Might be a little bit too big, but I don't know, I think it could be cool. Or we could just go full Fortnite and have a 100-player balloon battle royale across the entire open world. Although if that's too big, honestly, we could maybe even just combine these two ideas into, like, online exclusive, like, 50-player region balloon battle royales. I don't know. Now we move into the theories, which I'm still not saying these are things that are definitely in the game, but in my brain, I feel like these things are. But again, I could be wrong. Theory number 1, I'm not giving up on my shop idea, because they increased the coin cap from 10 to 20, and one of the new items and one of the items they decided to bring over from Tour are both coin related. They've got to be doing something with them. Yeah, I know coins do give a speed boost, and it makes sense to make that speed boost larger, considering the courses are larger. And apparently the speed boost is actually noticeable in this game, but I feel like having a shop to spend coins in also makes sense because, what's the point of coins in open world otherwise? It also just makes sense to have a way to unlock characters and skins that isn't random, because, at least as far as we know right now, characters and skins, the only real way to unlock them is through the Kamek item or the Dash Food, both of which are at least semi-random. Theory 2 is less of a, yeah, I think this thing is in the game, and more of a, we know for a fact this thing is in the game, but this is how I'm pretty sure it's going to be implemented. Let's talk about the Easter egg tracks, as the community's been calling them. Basically, the courses that we can see on the world map that are not part of any Grand Prix. At least, not yet, but we'll get into that later. Now, we already have 6 of these things confirmed. The 3 SNES Ghost Valleys are outside of Boost Cinema. The 2 SNES Choco Islands are on either side of N64 Choco Mountain, and SNES Vanilla Lake 1 is on the route between Sky High Sundae and Wario Shipyard. But I think I've found a 7th, that being N64 Moo Moo Farm, basically right next to Moo Moo Meadows. Now yeah, looking at this image here, I did just kind of highlight an oval next to Moo Moo Meadows, but in my defense, Moo Moo Farm is basically just an oval. They definitely could just throw it on the map as an Easter egg like the rest of the SNES tracks. Now I did just say these tracks aren't in any known Grand Prix yet, but I still think they'll be playable either as individuals or, in the case of the Ghost Valleys, maybe it's a fusion track. And in a similar vein, we know that the individual portions of Super Mario Circuit and Super Koopa Beach are individually selectable in Versus mode. And yes, I know those aren't the actual names, but I'm not calling the Mario Circuit Fusion just Mario Circuit, and there's signs on it that say Super Mario Circuits. That's what I'm doing with the name there. And Koopa Troopa Beach is the N64 course, so again, just bringing Super into that name. But in the Mario Kart World Direct, we saw footage of someone driving to, specifically, Mario Circuit 3, which means that, yeah, those can be played individually. It's safe to assume the same will be true for the individual Koopa Beaches, and I think that'll be the case for all of these Easter egg tracks. Even if they aren't in any Grand Prix, they will likely still be playable just in Versus mode. Because I doubt that these courses were just added to the map to appear purely in free roam. If these were just in the background, then yeah, maybe I would understand them just being Easter eggs, but considering we have driven through all of them, except Moo Moo Farm, but again, that's more so my theory, outside of free roam mode, I think these are proper tracks at some point. We go through all 3 Ghost Valleys when either leaving or getting to Boo Cinema. We go through the Choco Islands when arriving at or leaving Choco Mountain, and like I mentioned earlier, Vanilla Lake 1 is on the path between Sky High Sundae and Wario Shipyard. I fully think these are proper, actual tracks in the game in some capacity, but to get to that, let's move on to the final theory of the video. Final theory of the video is going to be a pretty big one, because we're going to be talking about the demo. More specifically, the content that is being hidden from those. We already know there's courses that we can't see in there, more specifically Rainbow Road and any of the cup openers, because Nintendo wants to show off intermissions, but I feel like there's a lot more that they aren't showing us. Now, when I'm talking about extra courses here, I'm not referring to the Easter egg courses I was just talking about. Those are completely separate from what I mean now, because what I mean now is just full-on more courses. Now, why do I think this is the case? Well, simple. Ever since Mario Kart DS, the standard has been 32 tracks. 16 new, 16 old. Yet you're telling me, for the most ambitious Mario Kart, as they have been calling it, we're only getting 30 tracks? Something doesn't add up here. And yeah, I know Crown City and Peach Stadium have 2 different variants, but does that really count? Now, if you do count the confirmed Easter egg tracks, the number of courses in this game does go up to 36, with it getting even higher when you separate the Mario Circuits, Ghost Valleys, and Koopa Beaches from their fusions, but again, I'm not talking about those here. I know many people, myself included, were expecting Mario Kart 9 to have a 48-course base game, but nope, just 30. Although the biggest indicator for me that we haven't seen every course yet is the selection. Every Mario Kart since the introduction of Retros has had at least 1 course from every previous game. But here in World, there's no sign of any GBA tracks or any Wii U tracks. Yeah, we have Sky High Sundae, but that's a whole other can of worms that I'll get into at a later date. But like, where's Piranha Plant Pipeline? Any Retro Bowser's Castle or Rainbow Road? Some proper Wii U representation, or even some more unpredictable picks, because Nintendo usually tends to do those. Although I guess you could count Moo Moo Meadows again and Fusing SNES tracks as unpredictable, because I don't think anyone saw those coming. It's also just strange to not have a 50-50 split of new and returning courses. We have 16 new, 18 if you count the 2 Crown City and Peach Stadiums separately, but only 14 returning so far? And it stands to reason that with additional courses, we would also need additional cups and rallies. Just an example cup here that I came up with, the Boomerang Cup. We'll have it be Super Ghost Valley, DK Pass, Salty Salty Speedway, and Faraway Oasis. And extra cups like this could even be how we get the individual SNES tracks, like just Mario Circuit 3 is in this cup, for example. I feel like more rallies also make sense, not just from the standpoint of having more courses, but even just with the ones that we have, because the course distribution is all over the place here. What do you mean Moo Moo Meadows and Peach Stadium get to be in 3 rallies where Rainbow Road doesn't appear in any, and courses like Acorn Heights or Boo Cinema only have 1 appearance? I feel like they need to balance those out a bit, and that would be with rallies that we just haven't seen yet. And over on the character and skin side of things, I also think there are plenty of things they're hiding from us. With as massive and honestly insane of a roster as this game has, there are some very strange character omissions. The biggest of which, in my opinion, being the Koopalings. Yeah, I know people weren't a huge fan of them in 8, but that's because they were there but not in Bowser Jr. But you're telling me that characters like Stingbee, Coincoffer, and Peepa are in the game but no Koopalings? That just doesn't feel right. And there's also been no sign of Miis, which, yeah, I know Nintendo kind of doesn't care about Miis that much anymore, but we know the Switch 2 has them. There's not really any real reason to not have them in Mario Kart. I feel like this also would have been a perfect time to finally bring back Paratroopa, because he hasn't been seen since Double Dash, and at this point, what's one more enemy on the roster? And on the skin side of things, there are also some very interesting omissions. In 8 Deluxe, for example, we had different colors for Yoshi, Shy Guy, and Birdo, the last of which still feels weird because Birdo has never had alternate colors before. But in World, it looks like only Yoshi has those. And side note, I hope that the Yoshi skins are not locked to the colors, because I really like this Yoshi skin, but I use light blue. There are plenty of other skins they could do, and while yeah, some of these that I'm going to mention could be their own separate characters, they do have precedent for being alternate colors instead. First one that comes to mind for me is give us skins for Hammer Bro that are the Fire Bro, Boomerang Bro, and Ice Bro. We could also maybe have different color Koopas, maybe even get the Koopa General from the Mario movie. They could even give us, I don't know, different color Piranha Plants for like Fire Piranha Plants, Ice Piranha Plants, and even the Piranha Creepers. I'm just spitballing here. And those are just characters we don't have skins for. There's plenty of skins that we could get for characters that we have already seen some stuff for. I feel like for characters that we have seen some skins for, that might not be all of them. Depends on the character. Mario, I think we might be good on skins. I think we've already seen 10 for him, but there could be more, who knows. Meanwhile, characters like Donkey Kong and Pauline, I highly doubt are only going to have 1 skin. Yeah, DK did just get an entire redesign, but still. The point I've been getting at for the past couple minutes is just that even with all of the footage we have of this game from demos and the tree houses and whatnot, there's no way we have seen everything there is. I feel like Nintendo wouldn't make it that obvious for us, because we've already figured out the entire structure of every cup that we know about. I feel like Nintendo has to be planning something more, and that's why they're letting us figure all this stuff out early. Heck, during the tree houses, they have literally said there are things about this game we're not showing you. In case you guys didn't know, supposedly, Mario Kart World is the biggest Nintendo game by file size, sitting at roughly 23 gigabytes. For reference, the largest first-party file size game on the Switch 1 is Tears of the Kingdom, which is 18 gigabytes. What are they doing with all that extra space if not hiding more courses, characters, and whatnot from us? And I know it's not just music, because music files are not that big. And I do just want to touch on the soundtrack for a quick second here. Not really a theory or anything, but more so just a statement. This thing is absolutely massive. Like, fully confirmed at least 200 songs from Mario Kart and other Mario games alike are getting remixes here, and it is amazing. I've been keeping a list of songs for myself, just that I've heard throughout various demo footages, and wow, there are some deep cuts in here. Fun fact, actually, every single song that I have used in this video is getting a remix in Mario Kart World. but I know some people are thinking that the songs we're getting for Mario Kart courses, like for example DK Summit, Mushroom City, and Toad Harbor, because they're getting new music, people think, oh, that means we're not getting them as courses. But that's not true. For one, we have Vanilla Lake's music, which, yeah, that's an Easter egg course, so it's in a bit of a gray area, but we've also heard the SNES Koopa Beach music in an intermission, and we know that that course is playable, just as a fact, not in a weird gray area, so music is just gonna go wild here, and I really can't wait for this game's OST to be on Nintendo Music. It better be there day one. I also just want to mention something that started off as a theory that has been confirmed while I've been working on this video. We're getting reverse variants in this game. We've seen them. We've seen the Cherry Rally ends with Desert Hills reverse, and there's also footage in an ad somewhere out there of Mario Bros. Circuit in reverse. Just thought I'd add that here. I will also say, there is one other theory that I have, but I'm going to give that its own video later down the line because this video is already kind of long, and that is a decently sized theory. I'm not sure if that'll be out before the game or after it, because unlike everything in this video, I highly doubt that the game coming out will have any relation to that theory, as weird as that sounds. But what do you guys think of the theories and ideas I proposed today? Do you think my Royal Boss idea is kinda cool? Do you think I'm a fool for thinking there's more than 30 courses in this game? Let me know down in the comments below, and be sure to subscribe for more Mario Kart World content because I am going all in with this game once it comes out. Like, I know for a fact I'm going to be streaming it all day release day. But for now, I will see you guys next time.